So what are some of the challenges that you guys have faced? I mean, obviously this year has been double black swan event for oil and gas, right? Yeah. So I think everyone's going, through some sort of challenge one way or another.
How long do we have?
This is the nice gritty part. Yeah. What are, just ones that stand out to you guys, when we have tech companies come in here or startups, whoever they are, like to hear about some of the challenges that they're facing and how you guys are overcoming them, because I think that there's a lot to be told in those stories.
Gosh, where to start, huh?
I mean, right now it's just the whole COVID thing. So trying to get into people's office, everything's remote, right? And it's difficult to connect with people the same way that you normally would previous to this. So just getting in the door.
Yes. That seems like all my conversations lately, like even at lunch, like, so I was having lunch with a VC and he was just like, all my meetings with these startups is through Zoom. Yep. And he was just like, and honestly, like I just forget as soon as the call's over, like I forget who they are. It's like, it doesn't make a lasting impression. I feel the same way. Like all of our meetings now, it seems like other than just recording podcasts have been phone and Zoom.
Yeah,
and
we're talking to investors right now, raising capital for Wildcatters, and that's hard to do over Zoom.
It is. You're not connecting the same way, and we struggle with the same thing. I mean, we're trying to use LinkedIn. It seems like a lot of people are using LinkedIn right now, probably checking it quite a bit throughout the day. So we're trying that. We are getting in and having conversations, but that's probably the hardest thing right now. I mean, there's not being able to meet with them in person. And then there's also just the dramatic drop in activity. Yeah. So there's a very small piece of pie that a lot more people are competing for. Luckily, we have a fantastic differentiator. So that stands out. That's helping. We do get in, we get the conversations, but that's probably the big one right now. Just industry downturn and talking
I'd
with
say
people.
Two things maybe that are a little more onto the surface. One is when you're coming out with something new, I mean, you guys know you've been around startups and technology. There's this immediate skepticism in the oil and gas industry. I mean, they just don't like new things, especially if it's like black box in any way. So a lot of the time I've spent since coming on board has been on our marketing materials to really demystify some of the things we're doing. Because that's even now after all this effort, and he and I have turned into marketing gurus as the rest of the team. I mean, way too many PowerPoints and, pamphlets and so on, but it's helping to break down this perception that, this is going to be really expensive or it's too complicated, or the worst thing we could do is go in there and say, we're smarter than your engineers. Yeah. And in some cases, maybe our guys are. I'd put my money on Daryl any day, but we can't go in there and say, well, God, what are you thinking? You're pulling all this sand out of your frac. You just spent all this money. So getting around that, because in a lot of cases we are doing it more efficiently, but it's communicating that in a way that, they get it. We're partners more than sitting here correcting a bad behavior. And then also overcoming the idea that, because it's a premium offering, that it's going to cost a lot more. Oftentimes we can do it cheaper because we have so much automation. So there's less people out there. Yeah, the equipment is pricey, but we can get some decent paybacks on it because labor costs are the biggest component in flowback and well test. We can reduce manning significantly just because of, again, everything's automated. All the readings, you can open up we can control the choke here in Houston on an iPad. Don't have to have a guy there manually actuating it
that's pretty cool
in New Mexico or what have you.
Yeah, be sitting in the living room controlling the well from an iPad.
Yeah, it's safer too, right?
Yeah.
Predicting the future is also tough too. We spend a lot of time trying to figure out what's going to happen 2 months from now.
Yeah.
What does the real-time activity look like? And all those are just complete wild guesses.
Yep.
Contrary to all the popular reports that I think come out from, the big research houses, I go through those, and most of the time I just think this is almost complete nonsense. I think they just pulled most of this off of Drilling Info, and I can use that myself.
Yeah.
It's just kind of ridiculous.
Next time we get called in to talk to Imran, it's not one of those minus 37 days. It's $42 day,
Yeah.
You got to be nimble, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I'm going to plug in our newsletter because we got one coming online that covers frac spread data every week. So, when you look at a business like you guys that is dependent on frac spread, it becomes challenging, right? But I think one talking point that you had, talking about E&Ps, it's like we don't want to come in there and say that we're smarter than you. I think that there is a shifting mindset in oil and gas, because I think if you're an E&P or any company for that matter, I think that you're pretty naive to think that, hey, we have all the smartest people within our organization and we know everything. Because there's so many smart people out there, right? And like you guys are focusing on one niche, one niche thing that an E&P doesn't have the time to focus on full time, right? So it'd be naive for an E&P to think like, oh, hey, these guys don't have anything to teach us or show us.
Absolutely.
And I think that you're starting, especially with younger people.
I was gonna say that the whole crew change or whatever.
It's real, man.
It's real. Yeah. And I mean, we love it when we get in there and like the senior production guys, some, 32-year-old guy right out of School of Mines or something like that. We're like, sweet, he's going to get it.
Yeah.
He's going to be open and trying it a new way.
Yeah.
We love that. And a lot of our customers, that's exactly who we're dealing with.
It's always those 65-year-old unemployed completion consultants.
Yeah.
They give you hell.
They hate me. Yeah. They don't like me on LinkedIn. Those are my adversaries.
Most of the time when I'm presenting to them, they're either staring at their phone or it's like just after lunch. So they start to fall asleep.
Yeah, that's the worst time. I mean, that's me. I'm 30. I'm still do that. That's like my post lunch nap time.